have a doctor in the house. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Houston Millennial Podcast. You are watching a brand new episode of Millennial Mondays. I am your host, Jill Valentine.
And I'm your co-host, Ivan Sanchez, president of Houston Millennials. And if you have a question about the most interesting millennial in the world, please comment down below. We'll bring it on screen and we'll ask the doctor ourselves.
That is right, guys.
So doctor, please do a short introduction of yourself. Elevator pitch.
Well, happy to be here today. Thanks for inviting me to be on the show. I'm an emergency room doctor. I still practice clinically. In addition, I've moved into diversifying and doing business. Businesses ranging from medical facilities all the way to Botox, filler, limo companies, commercial real estate, etc.
I'm hitting that age.
That's right, guys. We have Dr. Abdulla Kudrath in the house. This is so exciting because he is an emergency doctor, a model, an actor, a card collector, and a TV medical correspondent.
That's for sure. And let me say, he's very humble. The bio of Dr. Abdulla Kudrath, he is an emergency medical physician. He is the owner of several emergency centers, including Post Oak ER, Supreme Care ER, and a bunch of other ERs. I'm not going to mention this. He created a physician group that employs over 50 doctors. And expanding out of medicine, he's an entrepreneur. Dr. Kudrath is now involved in real estate development, and other business include a lounge in Houston, which will be our next event. We'll talk about it in just a bit. He owns a limo company, like he said, a Botox and filler company, and has an official space rental company called GalaWorks. We'll go into that in just a bit as well. And he's also an actor. Oh, my goodness. And he does, he's featured on Fox 26 regularly because he is your local doctor giving us advice every single day. So give him a big old round of applause, please.
Thank you.
So yeah, we mentioned we are live from GalaWorks. This is our office space building that Houston Millennials occupies.
Correct. Dream with us and office with us. Check this out.
Dream with us. Office with Houston Millennials and GalaWorks for a place to hold a team meeting or a conference. Join a community of passionate young entrepreneurs in prime office space located at River Oaks and Galleria. Our co-working space is available for rent through memberships.
That is freaking amazing. This GalaWorks is located in River Oaks Galleria for a bunch of young professionals, Houston Millennials. Office at GalaWorks. Again, office with us, dream with us. See you at the very top. For those that do not know what Houston Millennial is, we are a nationally awarded organization that promotes millennial advancement in the public, private, and nonprofit sector. It sounds very vague, but we do this through 7 standing committees that represent the most important aspects of a person's life, or in this case, a millennial's life. That is the business committee, networking, women's health and fitness, and so on. We have 9,200 members and over 36 annual events. And if you want to hear more about us, the next event, or how to join our official membership, go to www.houstonmillennials.com.
Cool. So when's the next event, Diamond?
The next event is going to be at our boys' brand new lounge. What is it called, Doctor?
Reset.
Reset Bar. It was a super... round of applause. Yes. It's a mega ultra lounge. It's a very upscale brand new bar. A lot of people know where Gloria's restaurant is. It's across the street from that. So the next event is actually the 29th. There are absolutely no free tickets. This is the end of the year networking, Millennials After Dark, professional networking, Thursday, December the 29th from 6 to 9 p.m. at Reset Bar, located at 606 Dennis Street, 77006. Go to HoustonMillennials.com to get your tickets.
I cannot wait.
Check this out. And we're having technical difficulties. We're supposed to show you here we go.
Another Houston Millennials professional networking after dark here at the Varsity. Let's go check out inside.
My name is Chris Falte. I'm the operations manager at GalaWorks.
The man, the myth, legend. We have two special guests from Venezuela.
Mi nombre es Emmanuel, yo soy interior designer acá en Houston. Y Michelle.
O sea,
Yo soy modelo y makeup artist.
see you at the top! With the chief of staff of Houston Millennials.
I'm Laura Hidalgo. I do debt relief and credit restoration. Something about me, I love to cook. You coming over?
She hasn't cooked for me though. See you at the top! See you at the top!
Oh man, that looks like so much fun. I cannot wait till the next event. Add our special guest club, right? Is it a club? Is it a bar? What is Reset Bar?
Yeah, so
Dr.
it's
Abdulla.
Functions as both. You know, we are a cocktail lounge because we have space on the patio where you can enjoy a great view of the downtown skyline, and we can turn up. We've got a great sound
Nice. I
system.
can't wait to see it. But now we are going to start our lightning round questions. We love to put our guest on the spot and quickly ask them 10 questions. Do you want to explain the rules, Ivan?
So, doctor, this is like an icebreaker. We're just gonna ask you 10 quick questions, and you have about 5 seconds to answer in the top of your head.
All
Alrighty.
right. Ready? Number 1. Who is your celebrity crush?
Let's go with Nicki Minaj.
Hey!
Nicki Minaj.
Do you prefer talking or texting?
Texting is a little bit more efficient for me.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you're always busy, right? So, favorite childhood TV show?
Oh, Knight Rider, all the way.
Knight Rider,
nice.
cool. Okay, if you were invisible, who would you spy on?
Oh man, I don't know if I'd want to spy on anybody. There's the answer.
Kim Jong-un.
The president.
So you can help save the world.
Okay, how many cars do you have?
Oh man,
Oh,
that is my
he lost
addiction,
count.
and I get great deals. I think I'm up to 15 cars, a tank, a motorcycle, and a hovercraft.
Oh my God, what is a hovercraft? Jesus. All right, Doc, do you believe in Santa Claus?
There are several people on this world that are just like Santa Claus.
That is true. That is true. What is the last song you downloaded?
Downloaded. I remember the old Michael Jackson song called "Give In to Me," the one that inspired me to learn how to play the guitar.
Cool.
Oh, and shout out to our producer, Sibil Yatlul. He is also teaching the doctor on how to play the guitar further. What is your favorite TV show?
All right, that's so-
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Knight Rider.
How many cups of coffee do you drink a day?
Oh, it's bad.
Oh.
At least 4, but up to 7 or 8. It's my drink of choice.
Oh, shoot.
No, it's funny. I don't drink alcohol,
Oh,
which is
cool.
weird because I
'Cause
open
you
a
own a
bar,
bar.
right? So my drink of leisure and to be social is always coffee.
Oh,
Is
cool.
it because of religion or just because you're
It started that way, but I kept it going as I just have this feeling like I need to be ready for anything at all times. So the idea of me coming away from reaction time or anything like that, I just can't do it. Not that I
Oh, it's
have anything
understandable.
wow.
You have, yeah, it's understandable.
And the last question, and this is the most important question. What does see you at the top mean to you?
I think it's about togetherness and community. The phrase itself means that you want other people to come with you and always get better.
Awesome.
That's excellent, man. That is excellent.
That's my favorite answer from we ask everybody.
And that's it, my friend.
Yes, that was so much fun. That wraps up our lightning round questions. So we want to thank our sponsors.
Mr. Gilbert Garcia, thank you so very much for sponsoring Houston Millennials on a monthly basis. He is our diamond sponsor, always coming through, a real millennial supporter. Check this out.
This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia of A Tip from Gilbert. Talk, inspiration, and prayer every Monday from 11 to 12. And I just want to say, Houston Millennials, you rock.
There we go. And now we're getting to the meat and potatoes of the interview, what everybody wants to hear. This is Dr. Abdulla Kudrath. We actually met him during our networking events. A lot of people are like, hey, you got to meet this guy. You got to meet this guy. Legend says he always shows up on his Lambos, Ferraris, but legend says that one time he showed up in a horse to
Did you
Millennials
really?
After Dark
I always
professional
hear.
networking. Is that true, Dr. Abdullah?
I think now we need to make that happen.
Oh my God. That is so incredible. Your credentials are so incredible. You can like literally save people's lives from heart attacks, drug overdose, shock, and even massive bleeding. That is pretty incredible. What inspired you to become a doctor?
Well, maybe it goes back to this part inside of me. Maybe I watched too many superhero movies and Knight Rider as a kid, but the idea of always being ready,
Mhm.
that moves into also being ready for a medical situation. You know, that classic scene on the airplane. Is there a doctor in the house?
Yeah.
Right.
Damn.
I want to be ready for anything that's thrown my way. So naturally, I was drawn to emergency medicine so that I could have practice, experience, and knowledge to do what I can in those situations.
Damn.
Can you tell us a little bit about that in the emergency room? What is one thing that was like very shocking to you?
You know, the interesting thing is just when I think I've seen it all,
Yes.
I get surprised again.
Jesus.
A day in the ER can be so different, especially in different environments that I'm working in. If I'm working in a hospital down by the border versus downtown versus one in the community. But that's what I love. I can go from drinking coffee and doing very mild cases to all of a sudden having a ambulance or a helicopter drop off something more critical. So it's really hard to prepare your day.
In a moment's notice.
Mhm.
Like
Right.
you're just, no, I wouldn't say you're chilling as a doctor at the hospital or the clinic.
But give us an example, like what happened.
No names, because I know
Yeah, of course.
HIPAA,
No, no
whatever,
names.
you know.
But like,
Of
did somebody
course.
come in with like their head almost cut off? You know?
You have the gory stuff from car
Yeah.
accidents and penetrating trauma like gunshot and stab
Oh, uh-huh.
wounds or just random accidents. Then you have the medical cases. Someone can be having a stroke, heart attack, and overwhelming infection. Then you got the bizarre stuff, like people putting things where they shouldn't.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God! See, that's what I wanted to hear.
We'll go into that in a little bit, just more. What's all right? So screw it. What's a weird thing? What's the weirdest thing you've seen?
Man, I've had people just they swallow pencils or batteries,
Ooh.
and some of those can be quite dangerous. You know, most things not a big deal if you swallow a little action figure, which I've seen. But if it's a pencil and it's pointy, cause
Oh, dude, how's it
perforation.
gonna go through all your
Yeah.
guts?
If it's like a button battery and it shorts in the mucosa, it creates a very alkaline situation that can erode the soft tissue of the gut. But the weirdest stuff, I've seen people put a Barbie in the rear end.
Oh
and-
my God!
You know, Barbies have those arms like
Yes.
this, right? So it goes in quite easy at first, but it's not going to come out. It's like an
Oh
anchor.
my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on?
Just
What?
a day in the life of an emergency doctor. Right?
And this is and this is just a regular day to you, and you still function so many other businesses at the same time. But that was your very first passion.
Correct. I
Medicine.
still love being a doctor, but I also never want one year to be just like the last year. So I've got to learn new things. I've got to develop myself because life is short.
Where did that come from? Because a lot of folks don't think like that, right? They want to be safe. Change is scary for a lot of people, right? And you had to done go to school for, I don't know, 10, 12 years, get your doctoral or PhD or
MD. Yeah.
MD. There you go. And you sacrificed so much for that already. And now you actually have your clinics and you want to step out of your comfort zone once again. Where does that come from? For a lot of people that are in their comfort zones at home or watching this podcast, what is it that drives you for that? What is it? Where it comes from?
Good question. You know, my father once told me what he heard from his mother: seek knowledge from the cradle to the grave.
Mm.
And I think that always stuck with me. It's
Definitely.
not about money. if you know, maybe that's a byproduct as you become successful in business, but it's about experience and learning. And the more you learn and the more you get experience, the more likely you are to be successful and make monetary value out of that. So for me, it's all about learning. Uh, Again, life is short and the years will run together very quickly, I think, if you're not doing something new or experiencing something new. So I really enjoy the challenge of diversifying into new business sectors and trying to figure them out.
Wow. And you expanded. What was your first business from medicine after seeing toys in the wrong places and all that? What was your first business you jumped to?
I guess my first one, you know, from the emergency departments, you know, I kind of branched out. I had a lot of people asking me for Botox and filler. And since I was so good with injections in general, because you're always sewing things up, when you inject lidocaine into a cut, you distort the tissues. You have to plan ahead. That's really what filler is, distorting tissues. So being able to think several steps down the line and create the look you're going for, I actually found it like working on art. So I did the Botox and filler company. I've gotten kind of busy, so I only do that for select clients now. But then when I diversified, I figured real estate would be a good option first because it's the only investment that'll never go to zero. Whereas any other business can crash and burn, real estate is very unlikely to do that. You may lose some, but you're not going to lose it all.
So, so you do the Botox personally and all that to your clients, right? Just in a selective basis now. You didn't start a team with, or like a storefront or anything like that?
I do have that too. I kind of relaunched it again because I found some talented people who can also do injections under this company that does the kind of work that I like. Because remember, we said it's like a work of art. So everyone has a different style. So now I have an injector that works with me so we can do a few more clients.
Wow. And then branched off to real estate. What was your first transactions, or you didn't know much about it, but you learned throughout it? Did you go to YouTube, or you started getting surrounding yourself with the right people? What was it?
Yeah, you know, I started your first business should always be in your area of expertise and passion, because then you bring insights that can help you guarantee success. Then once you learn business, I call it the kung fu of money. Business is just like kung fu. And what I mean by that is you can't learn it from a book. You can't just be told it. You have to get out there. You have to fight. You got to win some, you got to lose some, and then you get better. That's how I see business. But you have to mitigate your loss so you don't lose everything you have on the first business. Now, that's not always possible. Sometimes you got to go all in. But what I've learned from the medical businesses, some of those principles I can apply to real estate. Now, like you asked, do I surround myself with people? Yes, people who have already done it, because they have the insight that I don't have. So we can create a team where I may know business and finance and loans, but who knows development and construction? Where are my gaps in knowledge? And that's who I need to add to the team.
So that's why they say your network equals your net worth.
Absolutely.
Because you can bring different talents. There's a very nice quote. It's I can't even paraphrase it, but you really do have to surround yourselves. You don't have to know it. You don't have to know absolutely everything. You just need to surround yourself with people that are expertise on it. Just like leadership, right? I might be, like last show, I said I might not be the best writer in the world, but I have people like Sheila and Christina and different people that really fill in those shoes, and that's how this organization grew so fast. And after that, what other business did you start?
Yeah, you know, like we said, the first one's always the hardest. And then it becomes much easier to start other businesses if you have the right team. So you grow the network, all of a sudden you have the pieces to the puzzle. And if you have some assets you can capitalize on, then you can just move straight into a business. So I had some luxury Sprinter vans. Now, I don't have time to always manage another company. But then I had a good friend of mine, Chris, who comes from that line of work. He's really good at logistics. He can.
Is our boy Chris?
Yes.
Chris. Hey, shout out to Chris.
Yeah. So Chris handles all the logistics and arrangements and coordinates with the drivers so they can complete the chauffeur service. So I turned an asset, which was the luxury Sprinter vans, now into a depreciable asset so I can save on taxes and an income generator.
Wow. And you're just jumping from being a doctor. Is at the same time, did you start those medical those clinics as well when you were a doctor, or that's later on when you started building equity and
So I knew I wanted to do it. I had taken a trip internationally to East Africa to do some medical work, and just being one man with a doctor bag, I can only do so much. I realized then I need to learn how to build infrastructure and build organizations that can last a lot longer than I can last. So I came back with the motivation to learn how to build my own medical facilities. So I was able to start one year after I graduated residency. It was a tough year because not only did I have to prepare for that, but I had to work my tail off. I was working about 3 times full time as a doctor to save money so I could have the capital to get the loan.
wow, you heard it here. This he's done his fair share of sacrifices to get where you're at.
But it has paid off, and we really appreciate you being here as a special guest because you have been featured in like a lot of networks, a lot of major networks. I know. How did you become the TV medical correspondent?
Yeah, things just kind of happen. I feel like movement creates movement.
Hmm.
So the more you take on more interest, the more you try to learn from other people, the more you feel more comfortable in different environments. And I think if you're genuine about learning from other people, they see that in you. They want to get to know you more. When they get to know you more and they see your skills, they may include you in something.
Yeah.
So in that particular
Nice.
case, a good friend of mine, who's now a good friend, Isaiah Carey,
I
who has, is a very prominent TV news host, met me, invited me to come do the show once. It worked out well, so I'm honored to be a regular on this show.
The
You're already-
Isaiah X Factor, right? Is that what it's
Yeah.
called? I watch him. He's pretty good journalist.
Oh yeah,
I've gotten invited to his show 2 or 3 times, but I don't get
Nice.
invited like you do, doctor. I don't know. I guess politics is not as interesting as what's going on in the world medically, especially around with COVID.
yeah. There's always new medical things that people have questions about. So the key is to be able to tell it in a relatable and understandable way.
I see you having your own doctor show. Yeah, like Dr. Oz and all those different doctors. I see it. And we're going to be like, oh, he was in our
Maybe
Dr. AK, the Dr. AK show. How about that?
show.
we'll do it.
Dr. Abdulla Kudrath.
That's nice. And then, okay. And so from your ER, from your MD to the Botox, to real estate, to the limo company, to what else do you have from you're filming movies, you're a regular on Fox 26 News. You have GalaWorks. This is the shared office space over here at 2425 West Loop South. As you can see, this is the Galleria right behind us. Galleria Mall will be just over here on this side. And how did that come about?
Again, it was network and capitalizing on an asset. So I was already in this building with an office to where I could handle all my meetings. And having an office really changed my life on I was able to be really efficient. Instead of always meeting at a Starbucks or a lunch space, I can do back-to-back meetings in my office and have group sessions where we had privacy. So a lot of people that came and met with me were like, man, I love your office. Can I get one too? Is there anything else available? But not everybody wants to commit to a 3-year lease, a 7-year lease, and bring in furniture. So in the same building, when some space came available because another company moved their headquarters,
Correct.
here's an asset with a bunch of great furniture that was already here, kind of walled off and sectioned off, perfect for individuals to come and take a private office or a private workspace. So we said, okay, how do we give this to other people? And we can make it super easy, month to month. You don't have to pay for expensive internet. We have high-speed fiber, electricity, cleaning. It's all included. So they can move in one day, and if they want to move out the next day, it's super easy.
Yeah, and this is how we're using their internet right now. GalaWorks.co is not .com if you want some shared office space. And this is a free infomercial, or not really. This is brought to you by, and so we're at the beautiful GalaWorks here in River Oaks and Galleria. And what do you what's the vacancy rate, or how do people apply for this, or give us a little bit more information on if anybody's interesting, how can they contact your team?
Yeah, I think the first step is to either check out our website, galaworks.co, or come on in and do a tour. We have our employee SATA here who can give tours. We can see what's available if they want a private office, just some occasional conference room. Um, I've had a lot of people come in just because they need to host conferences for 100 people. So they use our big room. Some people just want a desk. Some people want a private office. So come in, see what we have, and then see what works for you.
Yeah, it's amazing. There's so many different organizations. What is it? The entrepreneurial, with Pablo Valley and all those folks that have it. I know we're bringing the World Chamber of Commerce here, and it is true is that your network equals your net worth. Because you're going to, if you lease an office space here, and they're not expensive whatsoever, even a hot desk, um, you're going to surround yourself with people like Dr. Kudrath, like our producer, Shapi, like myself, a lot of different individuals. We have lawyers, we have people running for office, we have doctors in the house. And so this is just very amazing. And in top of all of this, from being a doctor to the Botox business to real estate to, man, I'm losing track already,
Right.
from the limousine company to GalaWorks. You're still starting more businesses, and your latest business is
There's two.
There's two?
But the one I could talk about is a food court. We're opening a food court right across from the Galleria and across from the Hyatt Regency.
What?
Yeah, so there was a.
Oh my gosh. Dude,
I've always wanted to
you
get
make
into
me
the.
feel like I'm not doing much.
Yes, you
God
put all those
dang.
millennials to shame. So
Well, it becomes exponential. The more you start doing things, and then once you get a balance on how to handle so much, which has been very difficult for me because we talked about work-life balance earlier. That's a challenge. Something new I have to do to put things in place to where I can still do business development. But there's a club that used to be here called the Roxy. It's one of the oldest
okay.
running clubs in Houston.
Oh, the Roxy.
The Roxy.
Yeah, no, the Roxy. I used to go to Teen Roxy.
So we're actually
Oh my
building our food
God.
court in that space. So there's a lot of history there. We've got 11 great vendors coming in.
That's where it's gonna be?
That's where it's going to be.
Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, dude. He took over Teen Roxy.
Oh my God.
What? A food court at where the old Roxy was located. Oh my goodness. What type of food or what's gonna
Oh,
go?
we got a little bit of everything. I mean, we've got rolling fatties coming in. We've got the
Nice.
Thrive juices. We've got ceviche, Peruvian food, some great Chinese food from Walker, and then we're gonna have a mezzanine bar so you can just kind of hang out, have a meeting with a friend, and with the this model has proven to be something Houstonians want because we've seen post HTX.
Oh, Post blew up. Mhm.
And people, sometimes you got a group of people and they can't decide
Yeah.
what to eat. You show up, we've got something for everybody.
Yeah.
And you can sit down, eat with your friends, in a very happening area of the Galleria. And plus, since we're so close to all these hotels, people want to be able to walk to something,
Yeah.
and we can provide that.
Well, you heard it here first. Well, I haven't heard it. I'm not sure how much has been out there, but that's crazy. And there's still another business on top of that. Oh my God. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. AK has earned the title for the most interesting millennial in the world.
Yes.
And it is Reset Bar. Right? The
We-
latest.
There's another one, but we're still working on contracts. But Reset Bar is one of my other newest ones. And that's been so much fun to learn from and bring in people who are operators in that industry. Because to me, the challenge of starting a new business and making it successful, you really have to ask yourself, what would I want if I was there as a patron? What would I want as a patient at my ER? And then you start going from there to create the right services, the right hospitality, the right treatment so that people love you and want to keep coming back.
Wow. Wow.
So if that wasn't enough, you are also a philanthropist. You travel across the world where many people don't have, resources. A lot of parts of the world still don't have the resources that us, the United States, have. So you go out of your way and you go to other countries to do exactly what? To provide medical attention to the people in need?
I do. I do enjoy, being a doctor, and it is true that there's many people in this country and in other countries that just don't have access to care.
Yeah.
When I went to East Africa and Uganda and Kenya, in the remote villages, there were people who have never seen a doctor. There might not have been a doctor that stepped foot in the area for 10 to 15 years.
Oh my goodness.
So it's mind blowing to me because we have so much access to care and things. And talk about access. One time I was talking to the local teachers who are kind of like the guides and the nurses, so to speak, for the, and they're asking me questions, and I said something about, oh, you can use ice for that. I was so stupid to say that.
Oh man.
Because
they've
they
never
started
seen ice.
looking at each other and smirking. And I realized that they don't even have access to
Oh.
ice out there.
You said this was in Uganda?
That was in a remote city in Uganda. So I took for granted even the access to ice for
Wow.
a swollen joint or injury.
Wow.
That is incredible.
When did you take this trip?
The last one has been a couple years. The pandemic has kind of slowed me down a little bit and had me focus on my medical businesses here. But it's been about 4 or 5 years since I've been out there. But I want to continue to do these trips. So I've got to find a way to find more time so that I can leave the country for a couple weeks.
Set up your business, set up a general manager, and automate the processes and get you going. But that is just so very, very much. And this is one
Very
of the,
impressive.
the topics that we're talking about. And not sure if you want to lead this, Jill, about the work-life balance on Dr. Kudrath.
Definitely. How do you balance all of these things? You must not have any time for dating.
Are you single?
Are you single? All the ladies want to know
Ah.
if Dr. AK single.
I am single. I've been focusing just on my career at the moment.
Cool.
But it is important to make time for friends and people you care about.
Yes.
This is an important aspect of life that you don't want to neglect. It is difficult. Now, I do like being busy. Like if I'm in a ER shift, it's super busy. There's an endless to-do list, and you're trying to get through the waiting room. You've got ambulance bringing in critical patients. You've got helicopters dropping in critical patients. And I just go until my shift is ended and then I can take a break.
So how do you relax?
break.
What do you do for fun? What do you do for, unwind?
I think driving is my stress relief. Like,
Really?
I like to go to the gym and work out. That changes my pace. And I like to jump into, I collect cars, right? I love the old cars. I love jumping into my 72 Chevelle, listening to classic rock with a 4-speed manual transmission.
Jeez.
Nice.
It feels like I'm in the 70s and I'm just cruising with the windows down, hair blowing in the wind. And
So
I
cool.
can get lost in my thoughts that way.
Super cool. And I seen you got this dude right here. I mean, the honorable distinguished doctor, and now the most interesting millennial in the world, has a tank as
Yes.
well. I saw that you bought this brand new yellow car that his entire freaking roof comes out in order for you to get in, like Speed Racer or something like that.
I do like unique things.
That is amazing. That is
I-
amazing.
I heard that you picked up playing the guitar. Is that true?
I did. I've always had a love for music, and I met Chapil. It's funny because Chapil is a man of many talents too. Because one day I saw him.
He's
he was-
talking about our producer,
yeah,
our
one day He
engineer.
was taking videos and doing videography. The next day I met in the band, and I'm like, man, this band is really good. This guitarist and singer is really good. And I look over and it's Chapil. I was like, I got to talk to him, and he offered to teach me guitar lessons, and it's been wonderful.
Cool. I wish you would have brought your guitar right now.
That is cool. That you're at least you know how to unwind and
Mhm.
and I'm personally, and I know you're like, I feel ashamed that I'm not doing enough every time I talk to you, but I'm still trying to find that work-life balance, because we see people on social media and allegedly they're always active, and I come from the public service industry, and I'm always on, and now it's blending into me. Like,
Mhm.
there isn't enough time. I mean, I love my dad, I love my family, and sometimes I feel like I'm neglecting a little bit because I have to be out there. And so I have to find a work-life balance. What's a piece of advice for people like myself and other folks that are just so ultra focused on their work?
Yeah, you bring up a good point with family. And that goes into my point would be you have to prioritize. And family's got to be number one. Family, relationships, because the truth is nothing is guaranteed and nothing lasts forever. Our time is finite. And the more I've realized that, the more I've seen people, that we've lost.
Mm.
You realize how important it is to spend that time and prioritize that. Everything else can wait.
Jeez.
And you gotta, your time is like a piece of rope. If you pull on one side, it's gonna pull on the other side. So you got to see where you need to. Sometimes you can rearrange things and cut from things, right? Like if you're using social media, it's so addicting. If and now these phones can tell you how many hours you're using in a week. You'd be surprised to see how many hours you've done flipping through reels.
I don't want
Yeah.
to check that.
Flipping through
Right?
TikTok.
I don't want to check
right?
that. I was caught just yesterday. I was in such an emergency get up, and then I saw an interesting car, which took me to a motivational quote that took me to some dog doing some funny backflips, and then it took me. So I'm like, God damn it!
It happens, and we're all guilty of it. And we all lose a
Yeah.
lot of time in a day, in a week. So what you can do is what I've been doing is I take my phone out of my pocket and I set it somewhere else, especially if I'm trying to learn something new, like I'm practicing on the guitar, or I'm in the middle of my workout, or I love language. I'm trying to learn some new languages. I put my phone somewhere else. Now, because I have to be ready for some emergency communication, I keep my smartwatch on so I can filter. If I got a call from my ER, a call from another doctor, or an emergency call from somebody who needs medical attention, then I can go pick up my phone and respond.
Mhm.
But you have to create the environment to where you don't get distracted. And we all have our hobbies and stuff. Sometimes we can borrow from those times too. Like if you're really into sports and you spend hours and hours a week watching sports, maybe you can borrow an hour a week from there
Mhm.
to do yoga, guitar, language,
Mhm.
go spend time with somebody you care about. So it's difficult, but making that priority list, and it's gonna flow. Sometimes you have deadlines where your work's got to come first, but keeping that balance and always remembering the things like that are super important that you're gonna have regret if you don't put time on, which is family.
As soon as this is over, I'm gonna call my dad.
Yes. Let's all do it. Let's all call our moms
Yes.
and dads. And actually, that's a good point. Because I have a lot of friends who maybe don't have that close of a relationship with their family. And I'm big in the family. My dad was always family, faith, future. That was his mantra, right?
Mm.
So I tell my friends too, like, look, I know you're the son or the daughter, and you have this beef with your family member,
Mhm.
but now we're all adults, and you have an opportunity to repair that relationship, to take responsibility, because no one's perfect.
Mhm.
So if you can take responsibility of that relationship, and you could always say that you tried your best, that's you've done your part, even if it doesn't work out. And you know what happens? They try, and it fixes their relationship. They let go of something. So even if it's out of nowhere, call your family, call your mom, call your dad if you're not that close.
Family, faith, future.
Future.
And the beautiful thing is that I have a wonderful relationship with my father, and I know that he is my number one fan, even though he doesn't slide in my DMs as much as he might not know how to slide in the DMs. But it really puts a different perspective, and I know that I have to do better in that section. And I think I can speak on behalf of my brothers because they're extremely busy, and we lost our mother when I was 19 years old. My brothers were a little bit older, and that really changed the perspective of life. My mother passed away at 49 years young, as a young attorney, extremely successful business person. That was, and I don't want to really say this, but I'm falling like in the same type of trap that she fell into, because it sucks that sometimes I'm too busy to eat. Sometimes I'm too, my brain, I guess because of my ADHD or something. And if you have something to help me on that, I just can't go to sleep. I will close my I know, I put my phone all the way over there, my iPad, all that, and I'll just try to fall asleep. But then my brain will be thinking a million miles per hour. Dog, it just won't stop. So if you're watching, Papa, I'll call you right after this.
Let's do it. Let's make it an appointment
Yes.
to spend time, or if they're not close by, make the phone call. Just like an appointment that you can't miss.
Oh, for sure, for sure. That's part of the work-life balance
Absolutely.
that we're talking about. Dr. Kudrath, just to change quick subject, I know you were part of the Mill of Means, and you had
Oh,
a
yes.
couple of questions for that.
No, it was very inspiring to hear you speak. And you mentioned something about your father, that you said that you never saw him stressed. I think I told you about this before, that you never saw him being stressed. And you said, can you tell the viewers what
Yeah.
you
I mean,
said
if,
about that, about your father
if
never stressing and how
yeah,
everything has a solution?
yeah, if I remember correctly, you know, and maybe we get stress patterns from the people we're around. So that helped me to be around him, to
Mhm.
never see him stress out.
Yes.
So one example I think I gave was there was that hurricane coming through Houston. It was right after the one that had devastated Louisiana. So it was mandatory evacuation.
Yeah.
We're up in Dallas. And instead
Talking
of
about Katrina?
it was after Katrina, right? Rita was coming through and they had the mandatory
That's
evacuation.
right. That's right.
So as we're watching the news unfold and Galveston's getting pummeled and they have a house in Lake City, he never said, "Oh no, what if our house is destroyed? What if it's flooded? What if
Mhm.
He just said, he got me and my brother and he said, "Sons, we're going to go and put a deposit on an apartment. That way we have a place secured in case the house is destroyed. That's where we'll move." So he just comes up with a solution and then works on that. And I think that's how we should do everything in life. We said, don't cry over spilled milk.
Mhm.
And if you're immediately talking about or thinking about, okay, how do I replace the broken glass of that spilled milk? How do I get the replacement milk? Then you don't have time to stress. You just go into your plan and then your backup plan. And I think that helps me and it's helped a lot of other people not sit there and dwell or stress about things. And my perspective might be changed because I deal with so much in the ER that sometimes I have to give some very bad news to people.
Oh,
Right.
my goodness.
They may come in for some mild symptom or abdominal pain. I do a CAT scan and I find metastatic cancer. So when I have to give that bad news to people, nothing else in my life can stress me out. So we've got a lot of good things going for us if we got health and if we got family. So the rest of the stuff, as my dad would say, that's small potatoes. Don't stress on it.
No, it definitely changed my life to hear you speak at this amazing panel. Can you tell the viewers what Mill of Means was?
Yeah, so the Mill of Means is a event. Is once a year. It's a very special event brought to you by the business committee. That Mill of Means, the Mill means millennial or millionaire. So it's a millennial millionaire of means. It's a millennial millionaire fireside chat where we talked to last panel was Dr. Kudrath. We had the Honorable Consul General of Bangladesh, the People's Republic of Bangladesh, Marty McVeigh. We had Construction King JT Torres. We had Orlando James, a social media influencer with like 11 million followers on TikToks. And oh man, I'm slipping her name, but she basically came from Africa as an immigrant, worked in Amazon, learned the system, and now is a multi-millionaire that does contracts, some of the biggest contracts with Amazon. And they're all young people and they all started from somewhere. Like I know I started by pushing shopping carts at Kroger's and I ended up pushing legislation in Congress. But you
Nice.
tell us, Dr. Kudrath, what was your first job? So you can inspire, even if the newer generations, the Zoomers are looking and saying, man, because I remember looking at my when I wanted to go in politics and I was like very passionate about following my mother's footsteps. And then I remember it was just like Kroger's. Volunteer work, none. Awards, none. But what was your very first job?
You know, there's something to learn from every job. My first job was pretty basic. I had some friends in high school that were working for a lawn care company, and they would get paid on the like $5 an hour to go push lawnmowers. And I said, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it," because it was all my friends. I did it for a month or two. It was only October. Imagine if I did it in July, August. But after doing it for about a month and a half, I was like, I think I'm going to look for something else, right? But I learned a lot about lawn care. Right? A wise man once said you should keep a job long enough to learn everything you can from it. And once you've hit that point, it's time to move on.
Yeah.
So then I got into technical support. I was good with computers for the college. And then I got a job at Best Buy, the retailer.
Oh, wow.
And I tell you, that was actually, I learned so much from that job, not just the computers and home office stuff, but approaching people to help them as a salesman. We didn't make commission, but our job was to help people. I'm actually kind of shy. I'm more of an introvert. But when I need to be extroverted, I have to be, especially as a doctor. So that helped me learn how to go up to people, get to know them, build rapport, and understand what they need. Because I do that in the emergency department all the time. If you come into my ER, you don't even know who I am. You just met me for the first minute. And I've got to build rapport with you so that you can trust my decisions. So being able to read people and understand them and communicate was something I learned from a retail job, and I've taken with me everywhere I go.
Yeah, yeah. It's getting out your comfort zone as well. I didn't know you were an introvert. Actually, I can kind of guess that, but at the same time, you said you got to push yourself to the next limit, and you're learning every single freaking job. You're learning something. So that's amazing that he started cutting grass, right? And now he's cutting legs. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God, no. How did you get into acting?
Oh yeah.
And have you been in a major movie or something? Foreign?
Not yet. I mean, I've got some music videos that have like 40, 50 million views that I'd make a cameo appearance in. But to take a major role, I would have to leave Houston for 1 or 2 months. But to me, it's more for fun. I love the challenge of it. When I was a kid, I had a camcorder. So me and my friends would make our home movies. And from that, when you edit yourself and you look at yourself, you can get better and better. So then when I finished residency and came back to Houston, I had a friend that was shooting a music video. And I was going to come on set just to hang out. And then he said, hey, actually, can you be an extra? Just wear all black and some sunglasses and you'll be a bodyguard.
Nice.
So, sure. You sometimes just show up and you help. And then I met a lot of people on set, and they liked my look, or they liked how I performed, and they invited me to other projects. And next thing you know, I got a few lines, and then you do pretty good. One co-actor said, hey man, you're pretty good. How long you been acting? I said, oh, actually I'm a doctor, but I'm new to.
I don't know how you find the time to do all these amazing things. You are definitely incredible. You are the most interested millennial in the world, according to us.
Yes, he is.
Well,
Any last words? We're coming to the end of our podcast. Any last words? Where can people find you?
You can find me at the Millennial events. I want to thank you
Hey!
guys for always hosting such wonderful events. I've met so many people that have changed my life at these events. So I want to continue to go there, support you guys and what you do, because I think there's a lot of value in it. And, Houston is a major city, and you guys have brought together some of the major players in this city so that they can put more puzzle pieces together and make more puzzles come to fruition.
For sure. You heard it here. The most interesting millennial in the world is actually coming to Houston Millennials events. You can find him at any of our events, networking events. But doctor, like your social media, where can they find you?
Yeah, a lot of it's on my personal. It's just my first initial A, and then my last name Kudrath, Kudrath.
A Kudrath. That's in your Instagram.
That's Instagram. Yeah.
On Facebook, it'll be Abdulla Kudrath.
That's
Dr.
right.
Abdulla Kudrath. What about your Tinder?
Ladies, you can definitely find him on December 29th at the end of the year, networking Millennials After Dark, professional networking. Again, this Thursday, December 29th from 6 to 9 at Reset Bar, located at 606 Dennis Street, Houston, Texas. So yes, that is our special guest, special place.
Dr. Kudrath, thank you so very much for everything that you've came out here, talked to us, inspired us. We also want to give another shout out to our sponsor, Gilbert Garcia, the monthly sponsor. He's always here for us. He's a true millennial supporter. And we also, additionally, GalaWorks, shared office space, dream with us, office with us right here. The Galleria and River Oak section is a shared office space. We want to give a shout out to also Shipit Yotlol. He is a producer of this, but he's a photographer and videographer. So thank you so very much. And if you ever want to become a member or check out the next event for Houston Millennials, a nationally awarded organization, please go to www.houstonmillennials.com. So where are we going to see each other?
We're going to see each other at
the top. Thank you so very much. Tune in for next Monday.
congratulations. Everybody say Millennial on 3. 1, 2, 3. You're very hard work.